Okay, full disclaimer, I don't know anything about weaving or looms, but apparently my wife tells me you're supposed to have a solid, stiff bar of some sort on either side so that when you're weaving, the sides stay nice and straight and don't cave in the middle or anything like that. So in this video, I'm going to do that. I'm going to basically install a couple of rods, one on each side, and also a floating rod that can be positioned anywhere, allowing basically the weaving of something of any width that you want to start off with, rather than being forced into the full width of the loom. So the number 8 eye bolt actually works out pretty good, because the ID of the eye is just a little over 1/4 of an inch, so that a 1/4 inch rod just slips through it very nicely. We'd like it to stick out a full 3/4 of an inch so that it's positioned just past the surface of this guy here. So while the eyelet of the 832 eye bolt is perfect for a 1/4 inch round, this one's not long enough and could not find any that would be long enough, and welding on an extension just seemed like a lot of extra work. So we're going to try a 3/16 or number 10 eye bolt, which is available in longer lengths. It turns out the screws holding this thing together are 1024 screws. And so we're just going to come over here and replace those screws with the 1024 eye bolts. And yeah, so that'll give us the eye bolts for the top and the bottom. And we'll add 1 or 2 in between. Should work out good. So we got eye bolts evenly spaced. And we'll just put a rod through them and line them up. So I have this tubing bender, which we'll try. I mean, solid rods, obviously a lot stiffer than tubing, but it might work. It's working, so we'll just keep at it and see if we can wrap it all the way around. That worked out pretty good, actually. We got just about 1.5 inches between the two legs, which is what we're shooting for. Well, you know what? It's not perfect, but it's not bad either. You see we got it, they're pretty well lined up. We'll tighten the nuts so the eyelets are all in correct position, and this will work good. Okay, so we bent some brackets that will hold this piece on the loom. And we're not going to center the brackets. We're going to put it on the edge, and that's so the rod can pass by flush to the cross braces of the loom. All right, so you can see we've drilled the holes, 3/16 for the 1024 flathead bolts, and we did a little countersink so that the heads would be flush with the surface of the little brackets. So the top bracket's in, and we're positioning the floating bar for the rod, and we've got the bottom bracket stationed where it needs to be and held in with a clamp. So we got the right position when we go back and drill the holes for the bolts that'll hold that bottom bracket in. Okay, so there you have it, the floating rod on the left, so, or not floating, but adjustable. See, we got the bracket on the left and the eye bolts slightly to the right. So the bar does not interfere with the eye bolts, and we have the in between eye bolts the same position as on the ends, and then the bottom bracket in another eye bolt right near the bottom. Yeah, I think this will work. All right, so regular steel for the rods isn't such a good idea because it basically gets dirty. It'll get your rug dirty. So we're going to use stainless rod. Unfortunately, the stainless rod does not bend nearly as easily as the plain mild steel. So what we're going to do is we just cut off the pieces and we'll make the loop with a little bit of TIG welding. Hopefully that'll all come out okay. Okay, and there we have our two little hooks, which we welded on instead of trying to bend, which would have been near impossible unless I got a special tool. Okay, so now we're complete. We not only have the rods on each side, but they're cut to size and they're nice and shiny stainless steel, so we don't have to worry about dirtying the fabric, which would have been the case with regular mild steel.